els responsables de... Perdoneu, que m'avisava que s'estava gravant la sessió. Més concretament, deia els responsables del campus de Natolin, l'organització, juntament amb Catalunya Internacional, d'aquesta sessió que ja fa uns quants anys que organitzem plegats. També vull agrair molt sincerament al Consell Interuniversitari de Catalunya la seva col·laboració en l'organització de la sessió per tal de poder arribar al màxim nombre d'estudiants possible del sistema universitari català. Com alguns de vosaltres ja sabeu, si ens coneixíeu d'abans, Catalunya Internacional és un consorci de composició público-privada que compta amb 38 entitats consorciades i que treballa per explicar la realitat catalana a l'exterior, per donar a conèixer els valors i els actius de Catalunya entre l'opinió pública internacional, també per establir llaços de confiança amb la ciutadania i les institucions d'altres països i per fomentar la formació en l'àmbit de les relacions internacionals i la Unió Europea. Formen part de Catalunya Internacional les principals institucions públiques, econòmiques, socials i educatives catalanes i entre elles s'hi troben precisament les 12 universitats catalanes. Catalunya Internacional treballa sota el lema del pla estratègic, que és diàleg internacional, connectar, projectar i capacitar. I, per tant, un dels nostres principals eixos d'actuació és la formació en relacions internacionals de la ciutadania, de les entitats i de les administracions de Catalunya mitjançant el programa de beques i també organitzant cursos de formació especialitzada. Les beques van ser atorgades per primer cop l'any 1982 pel que en aquell moment era el Patronat Català per Europa. Ho hem continuat fent com a Patronat Catalunya Món, després com a DIPLOCAT i ara ho seguim fent sent el Consorci Catalunya Internacional. Per tant, l'entitat ha anat evolucionant, ha anat canviant de nom, però les beques es segueixen lliurant. Des de la seva instauració, el programa de beques ha tingut com a objectiu promoure la formació d'especialistes en qüestions relatives a la Unió Europea i les relacions internacionals, per tant que Catalunya disposi de professionals preparats per desenvolupar un rol actiu en aquests sectors i en les institucions, empreses i entitats catalanes en projecció global. Amb aquest objectiu, doncs, i durant aquests més de 40 anys, 320 estudiants s'han beneficiat d'aquests ajuts i han tingut l'oportunitat d'ampliar els seus estudis en un entorn internacional. Molts dels antics becaris i becàries es troben actualment treballant tant en llocs de responsabilitat a les institucions europees o en organitzacions internacionals, com també en despatxos d'advocats, en el Departament Internacional d'Empreses, a l'administració o a la universitat com a docents, només per esmentar alguns dels àmbits laborals. A més, les persones que obtenen una beca de Catalunya Internacional tenen l'oportunitat de formar part de la nostra xarxa alumni creada recentment, l'any passat. La vam llançar en un acte de trobada de tots els antics becaris de l'entitat. Esperem que enguany cobrirem la 42a ja convocatòria, el programa de beques torni a ser un èxit i segueixi contribuint a la formació de la societat civil catalana en l'àmbit internacional com ha estat fent tots aquests anys. I sense més dilació, em plau ara cedir la paraula a la representant del Consell Interuniversitari de Catalunya, la senyora Pia Moret, cap de l'oficina del Consell Interuniversitari de Catalunya. Pia, endavant.
Ara, perdoneu, és que no clicava bé. Gràcies, Laura. Doncs, efectivament, és un... Soc Pia Moret, la cap de l'oficina del Consell Interuniversitari i per mi és un orgull poder ser aquesta tarda aquí amb vosaltres per poder contribuir a la presentació d'aquest programa de beques i de Catalunya Internacional i el màster en Estudis Interdisciplinaris Europeus del Col·legi Europa que que ara esmentava la Laura Foraster. Bé, avui sembla que sigui un dia molt oportú, no?, per parlar d'aquestes qüestions. Justament el govern d'avui mateix ha aprovat un acord per reforçar, bueno, amb el nom de Pla Brussel·les, amb la idea de reforçar tota la presència i capacitat que té Catalunya d'influència a les institucions europees, no? I bé, mirant una mica quin era el contingut d'aquest pla, doncs crec que hi ha alguns aspectes que són més que pertinents i que m'agradaria també poder compartir amb vosaltres i alhora doncs, explicar-vos alguns exemples que promovem des del Consell Interuniversitari que ja contribueixen a aquesta idea de reforçar i la presència i la influència a les institucions europees i també, per tant, del que és el paper d'Europa en el món. Una de les idees que promou aquest pla que avui s'aprovava doncs, és precisament la de promoure el projecte europeu entre el jovent i incloure continguts sobre les institucions europees, la Unió Europea, en la formació, no? Res més pertinent. En el pla ho enfoca més en els àmbits educatius de primària i secundària, però per suposat la formació en aquests aspectes en l'àmbit universitari doncs també és cabdal per poder exercir aquesta influència i reforçar la presència de Catalunya al món. També, lògicament, és important reforçar la capacitat de les delegacions, les seves estructures, alhora que també, lògicament, la delegació que té el govern de la Generalitat a Brussel·les. I bé, també es parla doncs, això de la promoció de pràctiques a les delegacions o d'aquests projectes comuns entre acadèmia i governs per precisament reforçar totes aquestes xarxes internacionals. Bé, per això deia que crec que és un dia doncs, adequat, no?, per parlar d'aquest tema. I això que us deia, no?, només a tall de res, alguns exemples, no?, d'aquestes contribucions des del nostre sistema universitari, que tinc l'orgull avui de poder representar, com que poden ser el propi paper que tenen en aquests moments el projecte d'aliances europees. Segur que coneixeu que la majoria de les nostres universitats a Catalunya formen part d'aquests consorcis internacionals i, evidentment, cada una d'aquestes aliances compta amb una mitjana de 8-10 altres institucions d'educació superior europees i altres entitats relacionades, partners associats. És a dir, podeu imaginar quina capacitat d'influència tenen en el futur tot aquest entramat de xarxes que connecten més d'un centenar d'institucions a nivell europeu, pel que és la pròpia construcció europea i pel que és el paper que té Europa també, com us deia, en relació al que és els Estats Units o l'Àsia, i com sabeu també que aquest projecte ja va néixer precisament amb aquesta idea de posicionar les universitats europees en el món per fer-les més competitives. Bé, no em vull extendre massa, però un altre exemple, no?, de com intentem des del Consell Interuniversitari promoure aquesta contribució a la internacionalització i a la presència a Europa. M'agradaria esmentar també el projecte que tenim dels ambaixadors UNICAT. Sabeu que l'Oficina Europea de Selecció de Personal, que és l'EPSO, té una figura que és l'ambaixador EPSO, que és un estudiant de caràcter voluntari que el que fa és difondre entre la seva comunitat universitària les oportunitats laborals i de pràctiques en les institucions europees. Ara com ara a Europa hi ha uns 211 ambaixadors EPSO i participen en el projecte unes 180 universitats. Catalunya és present en aquest projecte. Justament ahir constituïem la xarxa per aquest curs, on hi són presents les 12 universitats de Catalunya. I des de l'any 2017 que vam apostar per reforçar aquesta figura de l'ambaixador que ens proposava l'Oficina de Selecció Europea, l'EPSO, amb el que li diem la xarxa d'ambaixadors UNICAT. Aquesta xarxa d'ambaixadors UNICAT té la finalitat de fer justament difondre i ser el punt de contacte a cada una de les universitats de totes aquestes oportunitats de feina, de fer més accessible, no? el que a vegades sembla una ocupació, uns processos de selecció que són molt i molt complexos, que ho són, però que sempre si és de la mà d'altres estudiants que tenen aquests coneixements i poden ajudar en aquest procés d'orientació, doncs sempre és molt més fàcil. I sobretot és un projecte que ens semblava molt interessant, més enllà d'això que dèiem, de tenir un paper actiu en les institucions europees i de tenir funcionaris, no? O col·laboradors que hi puguin treballar, que provinguin de Catalunya, ens semblava també molt interessant des del punt de vista de les pràctiques per també fomentar competències transversals i també perquè sabem que les pràctiques són un factor que les empreses tenen molt en compte a l'hora també de contractar, és a dir, que faciliten una millor ocupabilitat. I bé, aquests són alguns dels exemples que us volia esmentar i res, amb això acabaria i res, espero que tinguem una jornada de presentació molt i molt interessant i un cop més agraeixo al Consorci Catalunya Internacional i a totes les persones que avui sou presents que m'hàgiu convidat a fer aquesta petita introducció. Moltes gràcies.
Perfecte, Pia. Doncs moltes gràcies per la teva explicació i també prenem nota de tots aquesta informació que ens has donat del Pla Brussel·les i dels ambaixadors UNICAT, notícies també molt, molt recents del dia d'avui. Tot seguit passem ara a les presentacions dels diferents estudis que ofereix el Col·legi d'Europa i també del programa de beques de Catalunya Internacional. A continuació intervindran Jakub Kubica, cap de Comunicació Intercultural del Col·legi d'Europa Natolin, a Polònia, que farà la presentació en anglès, i l'Ivan Hortal Sánchez, exalumne del Col·legi d'Europa Natolin i exbecari de Catalunya Internacional, de la promoció 2020-2021. Sempre ens agrada recordar-ho, això, Ivan. I ells dos us explicaran les diferents oportunitats d'estudi que ofereix el campus de Natolin del Col·legi d'Europa. Posteriorment serà la Rosa Navarro, gestora de projectes a Catalunya Internacional, qui us explicarà en detall el programa de beques. Per tant, ara, per seguir endavant, li passaria la paraula al senyor Jakub Kubica. Jakub, the floor is yours.
Thank you very, very much. Buona tarda, gracias per conectarvos al nostro seminario web. That's pretty much it when it comes to my Catalan. But I'll try to do my best in English. And surprisingly, I've understood most of what you were saying. Speaking French, Spanish, and having studied some Latin, yes, at least I could grasp the content of what you were talking about. Without any further ado, allow me now to share my screen so that we can take a look at the presentation. All right, sharing now. Can you see it? Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So I presume that the fact that you're connected tonight implies that you have heard previously about the College of Europe as such. Just briefly to tell you a few words where we come from. The College of Europe is probably one of the oldest and, to say very modestly, one of the most prestigious institutions of postgraduate European studies in Europe and in the world. It all dates back to the aftermath of the World War II. This institution came around as an answer to the question, what's next? Europe was in a very difficult position back then, back in 1940s. 14 million people died. The infrastructure was in mess. The international order needed reconstruction, and the College of Europe was part of the answer to the question, what's next? That was provided by the Hague Congress in 1948 that came up with the idea of setting up the Council of Europe. And they also had an idea to bring to existence an institution that is to allow young graduates and professionals to study and live together and to work together in the future on the European project. So back then, it was a revolutionary idea to bring together young people, young professionals, young graduates who not so long ago were literally shooting at each other during the Second World War. Therefore, the European project, one can say, started with the College of Europe. As you may remember, the first treaties of European communities were only signed in the 1950s. Therefore, the College of Europe, that was founded in Bruges in 1949, is older than the European Union itself, one can say. The College of Europe in Natolin, that I'm representing, myself and Ivan as our alumnus, is an institution that was created in the 90s as a response to the question, what's next, following, this time, the Cold War. At this time, everyone thought that the Cold War is over. Today, in the current geopolitical reality, one may ask him or herself a question whether it is the case. However, back then, we were in this happy moment. The wind of change blew, the Berlin Wall fell, the partially free elections in Poland, the bloodless revolution in Czechoslovakia. So the reunification of Europe started back then. And on this wave, within this new geopolitical reality, Europe also had to ask itself the question, what's next? Of course, in a very different position. A few decades down the road, with the integration process ongoing and with solid single market existing already. However, this new reality required the answer to the question, what's next when it comes to all those countries in Europe's neighborhood that had, or the EU's neighborhood, that had their aspirations to join the European communities or the European Union, as it was renamed around that time. And this is precisely at the core, in the heart of our mission here at the College of Europe in Natolin. It is precisely about building bridges and about EU's relations with its neighbors. It's about the relations of the EU with the southern neighborhood, with the eastern neighborhood. It used to be, and it currently is, about the process of enlargement. Back then, the College of Europe was one of the key institutions in the region behind the enlargement process, the Big Bang enlargement of 2004 and following enlargements in the subsequent years. Then there was so-called enlargement fatigue, but suddenly the question of enlargement is back on the table, unfortunately, due to this tragic war of Russia against Ukraine and the invasion, the full-scale invasion of 2022. But we are now facing a new geopolitical reality, and we are now facing a situation where there are new candidate countries, and some of them have already started formally their accession negotiations, which was not even on the table, which was not even discussed a few years ago. It is also about going beyond not only physical but intellectual borders, and beyond preconceptions, beyond disciplinary boundaries, because the approach towards teaching that we adopt here at the College of Europe in Natolin is about interdisciplinarity. So it's problem-based rather than related to specific disciplines, law, economics, international relations, European studies, etc. We focus on problems, on key issues such as migration and human rights, such as energy and climate change, such as digital transition, etc., etc., and look at those topical issues from very different disciplinary angles to give you a well-rounded perspective on those problems. 30 years of experience have led us to come up with this holistic offer, which comprises three overarching yet distinct categories: knowledge, capacity building, and campus experience. And make no mistake, these elements are all part of the educational process. So knowledge, absolutely, the academic program, research and extracurriculars, but also capacity building, so soft skills that you learn on campus, and the campus experience itself, living in a community of 35 nationalities, living together, studying together, eating together, partying together. It is all part of the educational experience. And it's a very personalized one. So it's a tailor-made experience for each and every one of you. In the past several years, we haven't had 2 students in each promotion, counting approximately 120 to 130 people, who had identical academic curriculum. This gives you an idea of how much tailor-made and personalized it is. The beast we're talking about today is called an Advanced Master of Arts in European Interdisciplinary Studies. Now, one can ask, and I very often receive the question, what exactly are you guys teaching? And my answer to that question is we're teaching what each and every one of you, Arnau, Juan, Neus, Marina, Izan, Gerard, Sergi, and all of you here in the room want us to teach you. Imagine, picture the offer of the College of Europe in Natolin, both in academic terms and in terms of extracurricular activities, as a huge menu in a restaurant. And it is up to you to select the ingredients and compose a dish that is most nutritious, that is most tasty for each and every one of you personally. In the first semester, you get the general overview of European affairs. I'll come back to that in a second. In the second semester, you get to specialize in customizable majors in EU public affairs and policies, so the functioning of the European Union in its internal and external dimensions, the EU and the world, therefore, the EU as an actor in international relations, EU's diplomacy in the world, the EU and in the wider Europe and its neighborhoods, or its neighbors. This is about the spécialité de la maison, the specialty of Natolin, the EU's relations with neighbors, the EU's presence in the neighborhood, the question of enlargement. Finally, European history and civilization. How our history, how our collective memories, respectively, for all nations forming the European Union and its neighborhood, impact our decision-making today, our collective reactions, our social dynamics. So how and why history impacts the present day. It's a very intense program, 2 years in one. I guess Ivan can tell you in a few moments of how intense it can be. It's annually revised, so the fact that someone is teaching here at the College of Europe in Natolin doesn't mean that they will teach here until they retire or die. Every year we look at the program and we look at what is happening actually out there in the world, and we adjust the list of courses and the proposal to what is relevant for you, for each and every one of you after graduation in the labor market. The curriculum is taught predominantly in English and partially in French, but do not fear, I'm not sure if it's a relevant point here. I usually carry out a short survey asking how many of you speak French. I can presume that some people in Catalonia do speak French, or at least will be able to learn quickly. However, the proportions are in favor of English. So the majority of compulsory courses are taught in English. There is one compulsory course taught in French. So if you ask me whether it's obligatory to speak French to study at the College of Europe, the answer is yes, it is. But the answer is also, it doesn't have to be Le Monde or Le Figaro French with past participle and reported speech and all fancy elements of grammar. You are to understand the course taught in French by a professor who understands that he's speaking to a group of internationals who have different levels of French. And you are supposed to be able to understandably convey the knowledge that you acquire during that course, during the exam. You have access to dictionary, you have time to prepare your answer. So this is to give you the idea how we approach the question of French knowledge. First semester brings together people of very different backgrounds. And let me share with you their testimony to give you an idea of how diverse this group is. Second.
Before joining the College of Europe, I was studying law at La Sorbonne.
I studied computer science before.
My background is initially in economy.
I studied at the University of Groningen, European Languages and Culture.
I did an undergrad in business administration. The diversity of profiles of my fellow students is immense.
I learned about the College of Europe as well as the EIS program when I was interning in the Greek Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I was lucky to receive a scholarship from the Dutch Foreign Ministry.
I came here with a journalistic scholarship.
When I saw the call and the scholarship, I was like, why not? Give it a shot.
It's a very important thing not to be afraid to apply here, because I heard it from other people that maybe it's just too much for me and maybe I cannot do it. Yes, I can do it, and I just had a really good feeling about this, so I can really recommend to everyone to believe in yourself.
Right, so back to the main presentation. This diverse group of students coming from very different backgrounds in terms of nationalities, but also in terms of academic and professional background, is one of the strengths of Natolin. You not only learn from the professors and practitioners that come to teach, 120 plus, so 125 around this year, academics and practitioners from top universities across the globe, including Cambridge, Oxford, Sciences Po, Yale, etc., NATO Defense College. But also you learn from one another, because with this diverse group of people with different background, you get also different perspectives, academic perspectives on the topics that you study. Because people come from many different backgrounds, they receive in the first semester some fundamental knowledge related to the functioning of the European Union. If you already have that knowledge, no worries, there will be no repetition. You won't be forced to go through it again. You can take a so-called entry test. If you pass it, you can exchange a given course for another one that is of interest to you and you haven't studied yet. If you don't pass it, nothing really happens. You just have to follow the course that you didn't pass the entry test for. So this is to assure that every student has the same background knowledge in the first semester, and he or she sees how their disciplines, the ones they studied previously, international relations, IT, economics law fit within the broader perspective on European affairs. Now, the objective is not to make a lawyer out of an economist in 3 months, because that's impossible, but it is to empower the economist to understand the language of law and to be able to enter into conversation, a meaningful conversation with a lawyer while working on an economic project. Therefore, this is to give all the students in the first semester this contextual knowledge and allow them to further specialize in the second semester. In one of the customizable majors and that I've listed already, you've got 4 of them and 80 topics to choose from. All of them, and each and every one of them, are interdisciplinary within the courses that are offered. And topics, 80 topics to choose from, show me another university that within one program, within one semester only, offers such a variety and selection of courses. Study trips. I guess this is an experience that will stay with you for a very long time. And again, I'll hand over to the students to tell you a few words about what these trips are all about.
I chose the wider Baltic study. I think it's very interesting in this particular time.
For me, it's the first opportunity to come to Brussels, come to the NATO.
I really wanted to discover what makes Balkans so special.
This study trip has been fantastically interesting in academic terms. I mean, we have learned a lot about the contemporary, memorial, historical and political issues at stake in the region.
This trip will provide us with the context of the security situation in the Baltic states.
To meet high-level officials, decision makers, visit different EU institutions.
This trip is really special, and I'm very happy that I chose this trip.
It was just a fantastic moment that surely will stay with me for very long.
Once-in-a-lifetime experience.
So this is a short introduction to what the study trips are all about. I'll just briefly summarize what you've heard. This is a course on site. This is a course that is to allow you to fully immerse into the reality you've been learning about in class. First semester devoted to the topic of borderlands. So exploring the topic of borderlands in Poland and its neighboring countries. Second semester, regional visits that are to allow you to explore topics such as security, such as enlargement, such as the functioning of the European Union and its institutions. On site, speaking to decision makers, presidents, prime ministers, academics, journalists, and representatives of the civil society, who very often are quite critical of what, for example, the politicians are saying. Therefore, you get also a 360 degrees perspective of what is happening in a given country. And this is a course, so this is happening on site. It has a preparatory stage and it has an exam at the end, which awards you a mark and ECTS credits for your work. Now, just a few examples of those VIPs who come to visit you on site. I'm not sure, Ivan, correct me if I'm wrong. This was your promotion with Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya opening the academic year, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's right. So the leader of Democratic Belarus, in full pandemic, she came to Natolin to open the academic year in 2020, literally weeks after the elections were stolen from her in Belarus. Mr. Borrell, no need to introduce, Roberta Metsola, this year visiting the College of Europe giving a keynote speech, François Hollande discussing the brokering of Minsk agreements, which at that time I was studying at the college when he came here to speak. this was believed to at least lead to ceasefire in the east of Ukraine and to prevent the conflict from developing. Now we know that it didn't happen. Back then, Monsieur Hollande was sharing with us the insights and let's say the backstage of brokering the Minsk agreements. 2 academic chairs on site, academic chair of European civilization and academic chair of European neighborhood policy, the latter being probably the only chair of this kind in the world, teaching and researching specifically about researching specifically the European neighborhood policy. Natolin nests, the one-stop shops, the hubs that allow our students to focus on their field of interest within the academic offer of Natolin. So those who are interested in climate and energy transition, migration and human rights, geostrategy, digital transformation, religion and politics, can find elements within the core academic program and extracurricular visits, VIP visits, visits of speakers and specialists that cater to their interests. And nests are hubs that are supposed to help our students navigate through this complex and holistic offer. Languages, you can choose 2 languages out of 8, Arabic, English, French, German, Italian, Polish, Russian, and Spanish. You can be admitted to the college if you speak good English and perhaps struggle with French conditionally, with the condition of attaining the A2 B1 level by the beginning of the academic year. And then you are supported by our languages team, which is also offering towards the end of your journey to the college a summer language academy that is to boost your skills right before the start of the academic year, if you need it, if you are admitted conditionally. You can also take language exams, measuring your level of language skills, and get a language certificate that is recognizable by both European institutions and private sector. Very much tailor-made and personalized career guidance, a number of professional development workshops, and a powerful networking element that I'm sure Ivan will be able to discuss in more depth. The alumni of the college are coming to campus every 5 years, and they always get to meet also the current promotion and share their insights with their younger colleagues. Student life, I believe that I'll just leave it to Ivan to discuss further on. Sports facilities, single room with your own bathroom, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. A counselor available on campus if you struggle or because of personal problems, or if it's just too much, there is a psychologist to talk to and get some help. Natolin library with a repository of 47,000 books in hard copy, 500,000 electronic resources. It is up to you to benefit from it. The campus, yes, I guess this is also up to Ivan in a second, but if you ever had a 120-hectare private forest, this is an opportunity for you to have one at your disposal for 10 months. Warsaw, it's been my home for 15 years. I moved in here and I like it a lot because it's a vibrant, dynamic city, a very young one, a hub for research and business, the headquarters of Frontex, the EU's Agency for Border Protection, OSCE's Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights. And Natolin is a beautiful, quiet place with a nature reserve, Nature 2000 reserve, 20 minutes away from city center on the subway, on the underground, on metro. So it combines the best of both worlds in that sense. A beautiful location. You can very often encounter wild animals here and there coming from the nature reserve. And there is life after Natolin. Just overall statistics, 1/3 goes to the EU institutions and agencies, international organizations and diplomacy, but another 1/3 works for private companies, consultancies, law firms, etc. 10% more than 10% work for the academia, think tanks, research, another 10% for national and regional public administration. NGOs, so the civil society sector, is also an option, both locally and internationally. On average, our students, this is important, secure their employment, so their first job within 3 months of our graduation, 60% a full-time job, 40% paid internships. For scholarships, that already was discussed, so I'm sure that DIPLOCAT representatives will be able to do it better than myself. You are also eligible for a number of scholarship schemes if you're interested in ENP or history or related disciplines, or you have background therein, journalism and communication. This is also a scheme of scholarships for those who have background or clear interest in that domain. These are awarded by the College of Europe on top of DIPLOCAT scholarships and other scholarships. The cost is 29,000 euros, and it's encompassing everything I mentioned. And these are and the scholarships are covering, are helping you to cover that cost. We accept people from very different backgrounds for as long as they have an equivalent of 240 CTS. So a master's degree, usually in Bologna system, or a 4-year bachelor, or they are in their last year of studies. They can also apply then. Minimum B2 in English and minimum A2, B1 in French by the beginning of the academic year. I mentioned the possibility of conditional admission and the possibility of summer language academy participation that is supposed to help you at this final stage to boost your French skills. Of course, you need to start earlier because it's impossible to learn a language in 3 weeks over summer. Different backgrounds and different interest in general in European affairs, European integration, international relations, foreign policy, security, energy studies, history and civilization. It is rather broad for as long as it is related to one of the dimensions of European affairs. We are currently in the process of accepting applications for the academic year 2025-2026. And will close on the 15th of January. It happens entirely online, no application fee. You will need 2 recommendation letters from your professors. I am happy to answer any questions about the details of the application process later on. And I will stop here and hand over to our alumnus, because there is no better way to learn something more about the College of Europe Natolin than hearing from a guy that has spent 10 months here. Ivan, over to you.
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks a lot, Jakub, for the explanation. I mean, you already made my job easier because I will. You already covered all of the parts, but I will still cover briefly a bit from the perspective of a relatively recent student, because I finished 4 years ago. But after that, I started to do like this role as alumni ambassador for 4 years in a row. So, and I'm also very happy to the former DIPLOCAT, I still call it DIPLOCAT, sorry, for like allowing me to enjoy this experience thanks to this to the scholarship that was provided, and then they will elaborate more in the details. What I can say, that's the major added value of these studies. There are many, but for me the main one would be this multicultural environment that you have, and that it's very unique. In my promotion, we were 134 students from more than 30 countries. So that includes not only the countries from the European Union, but also accession countries from the Western Balkans, from the Eastern neighborhood, and from the Southern neighborhood, from the Middle East, North Africa region, and sometimes even beyond that. Also, like in terms of this like rich cultural offer that the College of Europe Natolin has, there are many student-led initiatives. I would mention, for instance, the regional and national days that are organized on a regular basis. For example, in my promotion, what we did is to together with, for example, colleagues from Portugal and from Latin America, from Catalunya. We managed to have like some activities, for example, more formal activities with the embassies, other more informal activities with, like, for example, dance class or, I don't know, sangria party, whatever. So these were like very good initiatives led by the students, and they provide you like first-hand insight into their cultures. Then I mean, despite it was during the COVID pandemic, it was still a very like enriching experience, because we had like literally everything in the campus. So sometimes, I mean, even if we couldn't go visit Poland and Warsaw as much as we could, we still had the opportunity to do so during the study trips and other field visits that we could organize. And lastly, maybe I would mention also the opportunity of like not only focusing on the core courses and on the main, like the main courses that give you like credits, but also to harness the opportunity of trying to attend as many events and other activities that are organized, that are extracurricular, but that are still very interesting, also for your curriculum, for your professional and also personal development. Yeah, so if you have any question, happy to answer it, and thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. So I guess Ronald can open the floor to the questions.
I think that is my turn now to present the scholarship program, and then we will take some questions from the audience. Yes. So thank you, Jacob and Ivan, for this very interesting presentation. I'm going to switch to Catalan now. Okay. So, bueno, els dos ens han fet una presentació del màster que realitza al Col·legi d'Europa, al campus de Natolin, un dels centres europeus de prestigi més prestigiosos del continent. Aleshores, poder realitzar aquests estudis a l'estranger té un cost econòmic, com heu vist, bastant elevat i no està a l'abast de tothom. Aleshores, per afavorir que estudiants graduats en universitats catalanes pugueu realitzar estudis en universitats fora d'Espanya, ja fa temps que Catalunya Internacional va crear el programa de beques. Catalunya Internacional, que fins fa poc, coneguda com a DIPLOCAT, com abans us ha comentat la secretària general. D'acord? En el marc d'aquest programa, publiquem cada any 2 convocatòries, cap al mes de març-abril, aproximadament. Una primera convocatòria per cursar màsters en relacions internacionals a qualsevol universitat fora de l'estat espanyol. I una altra convocatòria per cursar el màster en Estudis Interdisciplinaris Europeus del Col·legi de Natolin, que us acaben d'explicar. D'acord? Amb l'especialització en la política europea de veïnatge, ja que l'objectiu d'aquestes beques és formar especialistes en qüestions relatives en la política europea de veïnatge i la política euromediterrània. La primera d'aquestes convocatòries, la que nosaltres anomenem la general per cursar màsters en relacions internacionals, va adreçada a tots aquells de vosaltres que vulgueu realitzar estudis de màster a l'estranger sobre relacions internacionals, tan enteses amb un sentit generalista del que són les relacions internacionals, com també a màsters específics centrats en diplomàcia, política, dret, cooperació al desenvolupament, gènere, drets humans, sempre que tinguin aquesta perspectiva internacional. El que sí que no cobrim estudis de doctorat, d'acord? L'any vinent, Catalunya Internacional atorgarà un màxim de 10 beques per la convocatòria general per realitzar estudis internacionals i 2 beques per cursar el màster en Estudis Interdisciplinaris Europeus a Natolin. La dotació de cada beca serà de 29.000 euros bruts, que és, com heu vist, el cost de la matrícula al campus de Natolin, al Col·legi d'Europa. Els requisits per optar a aquestes beques, tant per una convocatòria com per l'altra, és haver obtingut en els darrers 5 anys un títol universitari de grau en una universitat situada a Catalunya. També s'admeten les candidatures dels alumnes que esteu cursant ara l'últim curs de grau, sempre que a la convocatòria de juny obtingueu el certificat final de grau. D'acord? També heu de tenir un bon expedient acadèmic per presentar-vos a les dues beques, a les dues convocatòries. En la de Relacions Internacionals sí que demanem una mitja de l'expedient acadèmic personal de 7,5 sobre 10. En el cas de les beques al campus de Natolin, aquest requisit no és imprescindible, tot i que sí que es demana un bon expedient acadèmic, però no necessàriament ha de ser un 7,5 sobre 10, pot ser inferior. D'acord? La nota aquesta sí que és molt important perquè en el moment que feu la sol·licitud de la beca haureu de presentar el certificat acadèmic personal amb la nota mitja que us apareix en el moment d'efectuar la sol·licitud, en el moment de la convocatòria. D'acord? Heu de tenir també un bon coneixement oral i escrit de la llengua on voleu optar per estudiar el màster. En el Col·legi d'Europa, en aquest cas, serà anglès i francès, però en les internacionals el màster on teneu. Haureu de tenir acreditar que podeu seguir els estudis. Haureu d'acreditar també el nivell C de català, disposar de l'aval de 2 docents universitaris i tenir la nacionalitat d'un dels estats membres de la Unió Europea, de l'Espai Econòmic Europeu o dels països candidats a l'adhesió. D'acord? Les persones que voleu estudiar, que es presenteu en el campus de Natolin, també se'ls demana que el treball de final de màster tingui vinculació amb la política euromediterrània de veïnatge de la Unió Europea. D'acord? El que també és important és que per cursar el màster al Natolin us heu de presentar només a la convocatòria dels estudis euromediterranis. No ho heu de fer en l'altra convocatòria de Relacions Internacionals, ja que per això hem creat una convocatòria específica que cobreix el màster en estudis interdisciplinaris europeus. Aleshores, les persones que voleu demanar la beca sí que se'ls demana que s'inscriguin i que estigueu acceptats al màster pel qual heu demanat la beca. Això ho heu de tenir present, ja heu vist que, com és el cas del Col·legi d'Europa, els terminis per demanar les inscripcions acaben molt abans de que obrim la convocatòria de beques. Normalment no cal efectuar cap pagament per realitzar aquestes preinscripcions. En el moment de sol·licitar la beca, podeu fer igualment la sol·licitud encara que no tingueu l'acceptació final del centre on voleu estudiar. Podeu adjuntar el que és una primera preinscripció o sol·licitud per estudiar aquell màster i en el moment en què es decideixi la resolució de les beques, si se us atorga la beca, doncs sí que haureu de presentar l'admissió del centre on voleu estudiar. D'acord? Tant les bases com la convocatòria de les dues convocatòries que tenim es publiquen en el Diari Oficial de la Generalitat de Catalunya. I la data límit acostuma a ser 10 dies hàbils, 2 setmanes, per presentar tota la documentació. Tenim la informació disponible al web de Catalunya Internacional. De fet, ara podeu consultar les bases i la convocatòria de l'any passat. Tota la documentació s'haurà de presentar per via telemàtica mitjançant la web de tràmits de la Generalitat de Catalunya. El que sí que nosaltres fem és que, com que el termini és molt curt, des del moment en què publiquem la convocatòria fins que s'acaba el termini per presentar les sol·licituds, podeu escriure'ns perquè ens podeu posar a través del formulari de contacte que tenim a la nostra web, ens podeu escriure i d'aquesta manera us podem avisar quan publiquem les dues convocatòries, tant la de Relacions Internacionals com per estudiar a Natolin. D'acord? La informació bàsica la trobareu a la nostra web, com us he comentat, i repeteixo, ens podeu enviar les vostres dades a través d'aquest formulari de contacte perquè d'aquesta manera us avisaríem quan es publiqui la convocatòria. He sigut molt breu perquè tota la documentació com informació, com veieu, la tenim a disposar i nosaltres us podem resoldre ara les dubtes que teniu. We can ask for questions now, Jacob and Ivan. Either they can raise their hand or put the questions in the chat.
Yes, I think we have the first question in the chat, but yes, do raise your hands. It's fine either way, whether you prefer to type it in or you prefer to speak up. Please raise your hand and I will moderate the Q&A session. The first question from Jorge, we have the question about scholarships, whether they cover the Bruges campus in fields like international economy or only IR.
Well, as I mentioned, we have two calls. So the first one would cover the studies in Bruges. Okay, so if you want to study in Bruges, you have to apply to the international the scholarships that are for international relations. No sé si m'he explicat, com he comentat, són dues convocatòries les que tenim, una per estudis en relacions internacionals a qualsevol centre. Aquesta és la que entraria al Col·legi d'Europa del campus de Bruixes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? Gerard, yes, you're the first one. Go ahead.
Hello, I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Perfect. Then my question is regarding the admission requirements, because my current degree, which I'm ending this year, it does have just 180 credits. It's a 3-year degree, so we do 60 European credits each year. I can also apply for Natolin or Bruges, in essence, to the College of Europe, despite only having 180 credits.
So if this is your only diploma, and you don't have any other diploma, and the total number of your credits ever is 180 ECTS, unfortunately, formally it's not enough. Sometimes we do accept candidates with bachelor only, but this is rather an exception than a rule. Formally, you need to have 240 CTS or be in your last year of studies. Therefore, the answer is no for now, but we're not going anywhere. So in 1 year or 2 years, we'll still be around. I mean, you can give it a shot. But don't, just to see how the process looks like, but don't be discouraged if you don't get admitted this year, because formally speaking, you need to have 240 CTS for us, for the College of Europe, to be able to issue your diploma of Advanced Master of Arts.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, any other questions?
I think we have another question on the chat.
Right. Okay.
Our program covers the study on law in the European Union, and if yes, completely yes. Our call covers the studies to study international relations or European integration. So yes, you can apply.
Yes, yes, indeed. So you can apply for the college and for the scholarship.
Yeah. Any other question? Yes, el programa de beques també cobreix estudis en cooperació internacional i ajuda humanitària. Són programes que normalment porten implícita un enfocament global, no? Aleshores sí que... A veure, els programes sí que els hem de mirar amb detall, les assignatures, perquè també per això us les demanem. Després, a l'hora que feu la sol·licitud, us demanem que ens poseu el detall del programa del màster. M'estranyaria molt que un programa en cooperació internacional i ajuda humanitària no tingués aquest enfocament, però sí, vull dir, normalment tots aquests entren. Checking I'm not missing anyone. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've covered the last two questions. There's one more message regarding language requirements for the College of Europe. A2 in French. It's hard to tell because A2 for different people very often means different things. So when you apply to the college, you provide self-assessment of your language skills in the application form. It is good and recommended to attach some sort of certificate or attestation or even a letter of confirmation from your language teacher that your level of French or English is actually the one you're indicating, but it is not compulsory. So it is not a blocking issue if you don't have a certificate. At this stage of application, it is good to have it, but it's not a tragedy if you don't have it. You just provide self-assessment of your language skills, and then the ultimate decision regarding your admission, your language skills takes place at the selection committee. I mean, you come there and there is no way to trick us. We will hear how you speak English, how you speak French, and we'll be able to tell whether it's sufficient at this stage or you will need to work a little bit more before the start of the academic year if all other elements are in place. I'm not sure if it answers your question. So this is decided at the interview, Arnaud. Okay, great. Izan, there's one more question. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
Firstly, I would like you to thank you for being here, offering such information. My question would be also regarding the language requirements, and would be for a Catalunya International team. Like on the presentation, I heard that in the College of Europe, we have that facility of having that summer school of French in case our level of French is not so good. But I would like to ask the people from the Catalunya International team, which is the requirement we need to apply for the scholarship of the organization regarding French?
Well, it depends. If you want to study in Natolin, of course, you need to do both languages. As Jacob said, we need a proof that you are able to follow the studies. It doesn't mean that you need an official certificate to apply for the scholarship. But we have to make sure somehow that you can follow the studies. So if you have any document, anything that can prove that you can follow the studies, that is going to be enough, but then you will have an interview also to test your language, okay? But I would encourage you to apply, okay, first of all, and then we will see with Natolin if you need an extra support or it's enough for to start to follow the master.
I can jump in here for a second. If you, just out of curiosity, what's your current level of French? Is like 0, no French, or you have studied previously?
Like right now is completely 0. Like, I mean, I can understand some words because I speak both Spanish and Catalan, but I do not have like no level of French at all.
So my answer would be, if you're thinking about applying, just as of tomorrow, literally, try to find an intense course of French. And if you provide in your application, yes, you indicate that you speak 0 French, but then in the comments section, you inform us that you already started, you are enrolled into an intense French course and provide some sort of attestation, then it's fine at this stage of application. And as Rosa said, the ultimate assessment will take place during the interview.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay, one more question here. If Natolin work the same way, but with a double bachelor. No, if the total amount, if you have 2 degrees and they add up all of them in total to more than 240 ECTS, then this is fine, formally speaking. So you hold 2 diplomas and 380 ECTS in total, and that's above the threshold. So formally speaking, the requirement is met. So this is Berta's question. Hope I answered. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right.
Any other question? We have just, well, I think, anyway, you can, as I mentioned, you can send us an email or through the forms, and we will answer you the questions that you may have later on. Okay.
All right, and I'm just going to drop in the chat right now the general contact email for Natolin. We tried to respond within 24 to 48 hours. So if you have still any questions about the offer, please do reach out to us. Contact Natolin, one block of letters, @coleurope.eu. And we are here to help. Of course, Ivan is there to help as well as an alumni ambassador. So on our side, that's it. If there are no more questions, and over to you, Rosa.
Yes. Well, I just want to thank you for being here and organizing the presentation too. And thank you al CIC també. Gràcies al CIC de fet, a través d'ells hem pogut arribar doncs, a totes les persones que esteu interessades en les beques i en el màster. I bé, només desitjar-vos des de Catalunya Internacional molta sort, no, Laura? Que alguns potser us tenim a la primavera vinent fent les sol·licituds.
Potser ens veurem amb alguns i algunes de vosaltres quan feu la sol·licitud, com diu la Rosa, o fins i tot potser a les proves després, a l'entrevista posterior. Així que us animem a presentar-vos i us desitgem sort.
Doncs ho donaríem potser ja per acabat, la presentació.
Sí, també només dir, com en Jacob i l'Ivan han afegit els seus mails, jo també he posat, mentre tu parlaves, Rosa, he posat l'enllaç al formulari de contacte de la pàgina web de Catalunya Internacional també, per si tenen qualsevol dubte puguin adreçar-se a nosaltres.
Molt bé, doncs bona tarda a tothom.
Gràcies a tothom.
Gràcies, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, Jacob.
Bye, thank you.
Bona tarda.
Bye.
Adéu, gràcies. Adéu.